This is a big change for the Dallas Mavericks. Last season, at the trade deadline, we saw Jason Kidd transform this team into a defensive monster, one of the best teams defensively going into the playoffs. And even while we were in the playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks were still one of the best teams defensively. But if there's one glaring flaw that a lot of people point out about Jason Kidd, is the lack of ability to coach an offense, specifically the X's and O's. But just like how Nico Harrison was determined to improve the roster over the summer, Jason Kidd was determined to improve as a head coach, where he personally sought after Phil Jackson to learn more about the triangle offense and how he can implement that with the Dallas Mavericks. And on top of that, Frank Vogel has joined Jason Kidd's coaching staff as a consultant. So in this video, we're going to take a look at everything that Jason Kidd wants to do with the Dallas Mavericks, how he can improve this team's offense, and what can Frank Vogel do to help Jason Kidd achieve these goals. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 13,352 subscribers, which I appreciate each and every one of you guys showing support on the channel. As y'all know, I got my own personal goal of hitting 15,000 subs before the end of the year. We're only about 1,600 subs away from that goal. Well, I think we can definitely hit that. But if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, the live streams, the watch-alongs, the giveaways, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on a single thing that we do. But like I said in the intro, Jason Kidd really did a good job of transforming this team last year after the trade deadline, making this team more defensively minded, and you can only do that when you have the right personnel. Before the trade deadline, we were a team that just shot the ball a whole lot and just haphazardly tried on defense. But after the trade deadline, getting PJ Washington, getting Daniel Gafford, this team's defense definitely opened up, where players like Derrick Jones Jr. were able to look like a phenomenal point-of-attack defender. PJ Washington looked like our best on-ball defender, and Daniel Gafford, as well as Derrick Lively, were two great rim protectors. And these statements are definitely true, but that starts with the coach. That starts with a coach that knows defense, that knows set rotations, knows how to put players in the right position to excel on defense. And when you have players that know how to defend and a coach that knows how to set defenses, you have exactly what we saw, a Dallas Mavericks team that had one of the best defenses at the end of the year. But like I also pointed out, Jason Kidd might be a great coach defensively. A lot of people say that he could definitely improve on the offensive end, where at times in the playoffs, the Dallas Mavericks just couldn't buy a bucket. Wasn't much of an issue until we got to the finals, where things were definitely exposed versus the Celtics, where Luka Doncic looked fine, still able to get points up, but everyone else kind of fell behind. We couldn't really go to anybody. Jason Kidd's got Tim Hardaway Jr. in the game. He's got Dwight Powell in the game. Jason Kidd was going deep to the bench to try to find something that worked. But after this summer, it's safe to say that we have all the right personnel where Jason Kidd can go to almost anybody and the offense will be fine. But if we take a look at this quote right here, Jason Kidd on PJ Washington and his development for this upcoming season, saying the next step is for him to be able to bring the ball up, get the rebound, and don't always look for Luka or Kai. We trust that he can play make too, so we look for him to have the season he had last year and build from there. Now, at first, when I first read this, it read to me as Jason Kidd wants to do a little bit too much. Jason Kidd wants these players to do things outside of their wheelhouse. But then I remember that Jason Kidd does know what he's doing, and I'm just a YouTuber. I just react to everything, right? So after some thought, it did dawn on me. Last season, when we would have PJ Washington bring the ball down, it was almost always a turnover every time that he did that, where instead of having Luka or Kyrie bring the ball down, where the other team was doing a full court press, okay, let PJ bring the ball down. Luka and Kyrie can get in their spots. PJ, all you have to do is bring the ball down across half court, pass the ball, get to your spot. Luka, Kyrie will do the rest. And unfortunately, that was a hard concept for us to do. That was a hard thing for these guys to accomplish. But with the right personnel, we can definitely do that. And if Jason Kidd is challenging PJ to play make more, if he's challenging PJ to bring the ball down more, that's only going to be good for the team in the future. Now, obviously, as the season begins, there may be some hiccups, there may be some moments where PJ does look lost or other players look lost, but it's something that you want to get out of the way early in the season versus the end of the season as we go into the playoffs, as we're trying to fight for a finals and fight for a championship. So I think it's a good thing, and now that after I had time to think about it, I think it's a good thing that Jason Kidd wants PJ to play make more, that he wants PJ to facilitate an offense, and all of that culminates in Jason Kidd wanting to implement a triangle offense. It'll start with PJ bringing the ball down, keeping the ball out of Luka Kai's hands until PJ crosses half court. We can run a motion offense as well. That's something that Klay Thompson was very familiar with in Golden State, where him and Steph Curry were just running around screens until Draymond in the high post found one of them for a nice, open, easy shot. Where, okay, you got PJ bring the ball down. Let's take it a step further. Let's have Daniel Gafford or even Derrick Lively play make from the high post. You have PJ bring the ball down, pass to Derrick Lively in the high post. You have Steph, you got Clay, you got Kyrie, you got Luka running around screens until somebody's open. Derrick Lively or Daniel Gafford to pass it open, man, that's an easy bucket. Not saying we got to copy what Golden State does, but we can implement more than what we've seen over the last 2 seasons. We can do more than what we saw last year on offense, where at many times it was Luka or Kai, bring the ball down, someone pull up for a screen, someone sits in a corner and just wait. It was a very stagnant offense where people weren't moving around. And even when Luka was playing off ball, Luka really wasn't moving around himself. So if Jason Kidd wants to implement this triangle offense, it's going to be a full team effort where everybody has to buy in. And after you've almost tasted a championship, I have no worries that there's a single player on this team that isn't already bought in. But let's go ahead and continue with what we got right here. In a wide-ranging interview with the Steinline, Mavericks coach Jason Kidd reveals that he visited 11-time NBA champion Phil Jackson over the summer to discuss coaching philosophies, employing the triangle offense, and more. And that right there is something that you definitely want to hear from your head coach, especially after you just made it to the finals. You want to make it back. Your GM gave you all the right pieces. You have the roster necessary to win, a roster that many people are arguing this might be the best roster. This team might be better than the 2011 team that won their first championship. But it is good to know that Jason Kidd isn't just going to be standing around with his hands in his pockets watching the game just like you and I. It's good to know that Jason Kidd isn't going to just allow things to happen. He's going to be proactive. He already started by proactively seeking Phil Jackson to learn about the triangle offense. He wanted the 11-time NBA championship coach to teach him how he can also be a championship coach. Jason Kidd's already won on the level of a player. He already won on the level as an assistant coach in LA. And now he's got an opportunity to win as a head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. And it's going to take more than just getting Klay Thompson. It's going to take more than just having Kyrie and Luka on your team. Jason Kidd as a head coach has to take initiative. He has to take the reins of this team, not just on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end, where if things aren't working, he has to take charge and not just let the players do whatever. He's got to make the call. And I like seeing this. I like seeing my head coach go out and want to learn from other coaches. It shows that he's not too big-headed. He doesn't think that he knows everything. He knows that he has a lot that he can learn. And like what I said about PJ Washington, that him bringing the ball down, playmaking, it all starts there. That's what starts the triangle offense. And if we can smooth things out early in the season, by the time the playoffs come around, that triangle offense or even a motion offense or whatever it is that Jason Kidd wants to implement will look seamless. It'll look like that's who we've always been. But the last thing that we're definitely going to touch on in this video is former Suns head coach Frank Vogel has joined the Mavericks staff as a consultant. Jason Kidd was a lead assistant on Vogel's staff with the Lakers in 2020, and when I saw this, I thought this was a little bit underrated. I didn't see enough people excited about this, and I think there's many reasons why. While head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, Frank Vogel was the scapegoat. Whenever things didn't look good, they just blamed the coach, and for many teams, it's very easy to just blame the coach. As Mavericks fans, we sometimes do that with Jason Kidd. But Frank Vogel had a lot that he had to work with. You have LeBron James, you have Anthony Davis, you have all these other players, and you have to manage that. And he was successful, even though some people may not give it any credit. He did win a championship in the bubble. And then a few years later, I want to say it was like a season or two after that, he was let go, where, again, he was a scapegoat. They all blamed him when it might have been some other things. And then he was over there in Phoenix, and his first year as a head coach in Phoenix, this last season, they lost in the first round, he was fired again. So I don't think it's a bad thing that, oh, you were let go at 2 places, we don't want you here in Dallas. No, I think it's smart that we have someone like Frank Vogel, someone that Jason Kidd, who was an assistant for in LA, helped him win a championship, and now the roles are now reversed. Now Frank Vogel can be an assistant to Jason Kidd as Jason Kidd's trying to win in Dallas. And one of the things that Frank Vogel can bring to this team is offense, coaching offense, as he did a very good job with that in LA. I mean, coaching LeBron, coaching AD, coaching all those other guys. Frank Vogel does know a thing or two about an efficient offense, but he's also good on the defensive end, so it's not like we're losing anything there either. But you guys let me know down in the comment section down below. Do you think Frank Vogel can help us win a chip, or do you think he's just here for whatever reason? You guys let me know down in the comment section. We can have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for making this far to the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. Consider becoming a channel member. We are going to be doing a giveaway. The winner will be announced next week. We are also going live tomorrow for our first preseason game of the season. Make sure you are there. It'll be the first live game watch along of the season. I'm very excited for it. I hope to see you guys there. But make sure y'all take care. Drink water. Peace.